everybody talks about, this is just a game, but it's preparation week to week, one thing at a time. I mean, you've been involved in a few of these. Can you kind of take us inside? What are you thinking right now when you think of Michigan State?
I think it's a rivalry week. I think you give something a little extra for this week for sure, but I mean, they had a good point. It is just another week, and we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing. We've kind of laid this foundation for success in the first couple weeks, and this is no different. It's 11 people versus 11 people. Like I said last week in an interview, they have a job to do. We have a job to do, and let's see who does it better. They're gritty, we're gritty, and I think we're going to be ready for this. We had a great practice today, and we're just going to keep building off that.
You stayed in every play at Purdue, I think, right? Don Brown said that last week. How do you? Physically, it didn't tax you at all. It was very hot.
It's weird. I've been this way my whole life. Like, no matter what I've done, I like to consider myself a winner. Also with the name thing, Winovich, it's probably in the blood. But I feel like as time goes on, no matter what I've done, if it's checkers, chess, I'm at Pinball Pete's down the street playing arcade games. Like, as time goes on, I learn how my opponents play and how the game works, and I feed off of it. I get energy. I start playing better, and then I see their weaknesses and I attack them. I exploit them, and I think and that's what it goes on. Like, Coach Madison was kind of like laying out the outline for how we're gonna get subs and stuff, and I said, I don't need a sub. I feel great. And I felt better as time went on. So.
Chase, what is it like? I mean, you're getting a little bit of attention now. I mean, entering the season, people were talking about the defensive line as a whole. They were talking about Mo. They were talking about Rashawn. Now they're starting to mention Chase Winovich as well. What is that like for you, just kind of getting a little bit of name credit there?
Yeah, it's good. And it's one of those things, I feel like it's kind of like an idea. Like, you have an idea, and it's crazy, and then people say, no way. And then eventually people start seeing, maybe this is the case, and eventually everyone believes it. It probably won't happen with bleached hair. Most people probably won't bleach their hair like me, but I feel like that's kind of what happened with me. Like, I was kind of out there, and I don't think people viewed me as the weak link necessarily, but I definitely didn't feel like I had the respect for being a person that. I think if you look at PFF, I think they rated me as the number 1 or number 2 returning pass rushing person in efficiency from a efficiency standpoint, and come out here and maybe earn some of that more respect. It's great, but none of that's possible without my teammates, and Mo Hurst and Rashawn do a great job of handling their business, which makes my business possible in doing my job.
Do you have a bit of a chip on your shoulder about that?
Every day I wake up. The thing is, for me, I've been waking up for years just scrapping for these crumbs that people have left for me, and I feel like for the first time that I have bread in front of me, and I could just take a big bite out of the loaf. So
what kind of bread do you like?
I usually go with wheat, just because it's healthier. But raisin toast from Benny's down the street. I'm not allowed to say you should try it because it's a violation, but it's pretty good.
What do you mean by you're scrapping for crumbs?
Scrapping for crumbs, my freshman year, just on scout team, I think if you ask anybody that was there whenever I was on there, I was always just balls to the wall, yell. I remember getting in a fight. We had a safety at the time, and I was literally screaming at him. I was like, "This is why you'll never play here!" Freaking out on him because he wasn't giving a lot of effort, and then sophomore year comes around, and I'm a tight end, and I'm begging for a spot on special teams, and literally begging Coach Baxter. And finally, he was reluctant because we had injuries, and then I go in there. I have two tackles against Indiana, and then my junior year comes around, and there's some points where I get Iowa had 2 plays or 3 plays. I had a sack. Indiana, the same thing. Wisconsin, I had 1, and I had a passing pressure. So it's just scrapping. I give my crumbs, and I ate them, and I enjoyed those crumbs. But I always knew I was meant for more. And my family obviously believed that I was meant for more as well. So,
was there ever a point in your career, even in high school, when you felt like you had the role that you were supposed to have? If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think in high school I definitely did. towards my senior year, I felt like I really had it. Junior year, I didn't really feel like as satisfied as I was because I felt like I could do even more to help the team. I felt like I could have more role in special teams and more role on an offensive perspective, but they just wanted me to focus on defense my junior year. And senior year, I was on like all the special teams and offense and defense, and I don't even feel like I still feel like I need to do more to help. That's just the way I am, and but I'm just going to focus on what I need to do now and help the team win against Michigan State on Saturday. So.
Just what comes to mind when you hear Michigan versus Michigan State? What immediately comes to mind?
Just the rivalry. I think about all the memories, like being on scout team, putting tape. We don't do this anymore, but taping our helmets green, and just the years of abuse they had laid on us. In recent memory, that's just kind of like the impression that I took going into this game, and not only just myself, but we remember that, and I think this is going to be a fun one. So.
Do you look at this game?
I look forward to the opportunity to go against them.
Do you look at this game as, and not even from a selfish standpoint, but I mean, of course you've earned your spot, kind of being named, being mentioned along Mo and Rashawn. Do you feel like this game can be a game where people say, okay, now I really see Chase Winovich?
I feel that as every game. I'm out there and I'm in the national spotlight. It's the same way against Florida. Like I've said this before, like no matter what you say of me, whatever excuse that you come up for why I can't play, or I'm going to show up, and like that's great, and that's hearsay. But at the end of the day, you can make all the excuses you want, but the offensive tackle that I go against and the quarterback that is potentially going to get hit are going to have to answer. So, Michigan State got a great offensive line, and they're going to be a challenge, and ready for it.
So several of your teammates and even Don said they all agree you have a screw loose. I mean, is that flattery?
There's a great Conor McGregor quote who's like, if anybody's been here interviewing me knows how many times I've quoted that man. If anybody knows any connections, put me in touch. But you got to be obsessed. You got to be a little crazy towards your craft, and I believe I'm just that right amount of crazy. I'm not. At the end of the day, I'm a normal person. I'm just a fun-loving, hard-working individual, trying to make my family proud out here. But you got to be a little crazy if you're gonna do what I plan to do. And there's also a good quote. It's like the people that are crazy enough to believe they could change the world are the ones that usually do it. So I believe that I can accomplish great things here and beyond. And so I'm going to give him my best shot and see what happens.
What would you say to him if you ever met him?
Conor McGregor?
Yeah.
I don't know.
This is your chance.
This is my chance?
This is your chance.
See, I don't want to sound like a fanboy, so
Your smile's taking
I'd
it.
love to just be boys with them. I think we get along great. I think we got a pretty similar mindset. We're hardworking people, like to keep our circle not too big. And first off, I'd like to thank him for inspiring me through his interviews and the way he carries himself. So
When did you first? When did he first inspire you?
That correlates with my success in my mind. Like I've been playing defensive end for about 18 months, and I started training that winter. And that's actually right whenever I discovered Conor McGregor. It was right before the Jose Aldo fight. I saw how he's a plumber, and he just was driving to work one day. He said, "F this," and he just went to the boxing gym or the gym and started working out and turned his life around. So it was kind of like, for me, it was kind of like how, I was a tight end, and it's like I just said, forget this, and went to defensive end, and almost like he was a plumber, and he said, forget this, and went and did what he loved, and did what he was best at.